Here a little further, and then I'll bring thee to the present business which now is upon us, without the which the story was most apparent.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wrench my tail provokes that question. Dear they durst not, so dear the love my people bore me. Nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with orders fair painted their foul ends. In few they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rather carcass of a butt, not brigade, nor tuckle sail, nor most the very rats instinctively have quitted. There they hoist us to cry to the sea that bore to us, to sign to the winds, whose pity sighing back again did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
O a cherubin, thou last that did preserve me, thou didst smile, infused with a fortitude from heaven, when I have decked the sea with drops full salt, under my burden groaned, which raised in my an undergoing stomach to bear up against what should ensure.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine, some food we had, and same fresh water that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, out of his charity, who being then appointed master of this design, did give us with rich garments, linens, stuffs, and necessaries, which since have steaded much, so of his gentleness, knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from my own library with volumes that I prize above my due.
Would I might but ever see that man.
Now I rise, sit still, and hear the last of our sea sorrow. Here in this island we arrived, and here I have my schoolmaster made thee more profit than other princess can, that have more time for vain hours and tutors not so careful.
Heaven thank you for it, and now I pray you, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind your reason for arousing the sea storm.
Know thus far forth, by accidents most strange, beautiful fortune, now my dear lady, north mine enemies brought to the shore, and by my presence I fired my zenith death of depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I court not, but omit, my fortunes will ever after drop have seized more questions. Now thou art inclined to sleep, 'tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou constant not choose, came away servant, that aim rarely now, approach my aerial come.
All hail, great master, grave Sir Hail. I come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds, to thy strong bidding task, Ariel and all his quality.
Hast thou, spirit, performed the point of the tempest that I bade thee?
Oh,
To every article I boarded the king's ship, now on the beak, now on the waist deck of the deck. In every cabin I planned amazement, sometimes I'll dive and bum in many places. On the topmast, the yards, and the bowsprit would I flame distinctly, then meet and join. Jove's lightning, the precursors, oh the dreadful thunderclaps, were momentary and sight-cut running were not. The fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege trident shake.
My brave spirit, who was so formed, so constant, that this coil would not enfeal his reason.
Not a sail, but felt a fever of a bad and played some tricks of desperation. All the mariners plunged in the foaming brine and quitted the vessel, when all afine with me. The king's son, Ferdinand, with hair up, staring, then like Rex, not hair, was the first man that left, crying, hell's empty and the devils are here.
Why, that's my spirit, but was not this nigh shore?
Close by, my master.
But are they aerial safe?
Not a hair perished on the sustaining garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me in troops, I have dispersed them. but the isle. The king's son have I landed by himself. When I left cooling of there with sighs, in an odd angle of the isle, and sitting his arms in the sad knot.
Of the kingship, the manners say how thou now hast disposed, and all the rest of the fleet.